Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. Today we are talking about the ways you can represent or depict the project schedule. So we will be discussing Gantt charts, we'll be discussing milestone charts and network diagrams. Now, network diagrams have certain calculations around them, and we are not going to go deep into the calculations. I'll create a separate video just on network diagrams. So if you're looking for calculations, this is not the video for it. This video is basically an introduction to Gantt charts, which are also known as bar charts, by the way, milestone charts and network diagrams, and under what circumstances are these used. So let's get started. Now, these charts are basically part of the schedule management knowledge area. Schedule management knowledge area was earlier known as time management. So this is changed to schedule management starting PMBOK edition 6. So this is now known as schedule management. So these charts are part of the sequence activities process. By the way, we have already covered plan schedule management and we have already covered define activities. I'll share a link to the entire playlist of schedule management knowledge area in the description below. So if you want to kind of freshen up your concepts on plan schedule management and define activities, go check that out. This video is also going into the same playlist. So basically the schedule management knowledge area playlist, just like our previous playlists on scope management and integration management, will have all the videos that will be made on this channel around schedule management. So today, when we go to sequence activities, although we are not going into that today, but today when we talk about these three different ways to depict project schedule, we are basically knocking the door of the sequence activities process. This is kind of doing the groundwork to get into the sequence activities process, right? So I hope this is clear on why we are reading these and when will these be helpful. So let's get started with the first one. The first one is milestone chart, and these kind of charts are typically used for reporting to senior management. So whenever you're reporting your project schedule or the where your project stands today or what is the next milestone, you typically use the milestone chart. So like the slide clearly mentions, it is used for reporting to senior management. Now this is how a milestone chart looks like. So these are the symbols for milestones. So you have week 1 to week 4. Somewhere around week 4 is where the requirements baseline will be complete. So this is the milestone that is going to be complete. Then you've got design completion. So somewhere around week 6 is when you can expect the design to be complete. Then you've got coding. So somewhere around uh, I think week 14 ending or week 15 start is where you can expect the coding to be complete. And then of course there's testing completion around week 20 or the beginning or the ending of week 19. So this is how a milestone chart looks like. It basically just represents the milestones of the project activities. And this is helpful for senior management to take a quick glance and understand what the project schedule looks like. And let's say if you are on week 10 right now, the project manager can definitely add a symbol here to represent, or a line here to represent that they are on week 10 and the previous milestones are already complete, and if they are on track to meet the next milestones. So that is how milestone chart is basically used. A quick word here, if you're wondering what books you want to buy to prepare for your PMP exam, go to the link pmclounge.com/resources. We have shortened the link for you. You can go there. We have listed our favorite books and our recommendations there. All right, moving on to bar chart, which is also known as Gantt chart. Now, these are the kind of charts, the kind of depiction of project schedule, which is used more often than not. And these are used to track progress of the project and these are also used to report the status of the project with the project team, not with the senior management, because this is going to contain some more information than that the senior management might not be interested in knowing, but the project team will definitely be interested in knowing. So this is how a bar chart or a Gantt chart looks like. Again, even for the milestone chart and this Gantt chart, different companies, different organizations have different ways of doing these charts, right? So even within an organization, different project managers have their own way of doing Gantt charts. So don't be surprised if you don't see something like this in your own organization. But this is going to give you a fair idea of how Gantt charts are made. So you've got uh, requirements baseline. It is known as a bar chart because you can see bars here, right? So you've got requirement baseline, which begins at week 0. This is the ending or the beginning of week 1, but yeah, let's not get that too complicated here. So week 1 to week 4 is you're doing your requirements baseline. Then design will be done in week 5 and week 6. Coding. Now, do you see how we are beginning coding while design is not yet complete? And something like this is missing in the milestone chart. Milestone, you'll just create a milestone here, you'll create a milestone here, the end of design, and then you'll create a milestone here, right? The end of coding. But when there are overlaps between two activities. This is something that a bar chart can show you, but uh, a milestone chart cannot. So the senior management might not be interested in these overlaps, right? But your project team would be interested, and that is the reason why you use these kind of this kind of bar chart or Gantt chart when you're discussing the project with your project team. So you've got coding completion. This is the time that requires coding, and then you've got testing. So the amount of code that is complete, somewhere here you can try to begin with your testing, and there's an overlap here, but basically you're testing the code that is already complete at this point, and you are going to go ahead and start with the testing. So this is how a bar chart or a Gantt chart looks like, and this is how it is typically used. So if you are in week 8, well, definitely if you're in week 8, your requirements should be frozen or baselined, your design should be complete, and you should be somewhere into coding and on the verge of starting for testing as well. Now let's talk about network diagrams. And like I said, network diagrams require certain calculations. We'll be covering that in a separate video because that is going to be, if I cover it in this video, it is going to go pretty long. So I will have a dedicated separate video on network diagram calculations. But for the sake of understanding and for the sake to show, for the sake of showing that this is also a way that your project schedule can be depicted, I am trying to share it here as well. So network diagram, these are typically used to depict project dependencies. If there are dependencies between different activities of the project, this is where network diagram comes in pretty handy, and it is pretty helpful. Now a very simple network diagram is here. This is how you start. You've got three different activities, and the three different activities and the time that these three different activities are going to take. You've got one which is 31 weeks, you've got 18 weeks, and then you've got 13 weeks. And these are the sub activities of the larger component, right? The larger activity. Let's say requirements baseline is something which is going to take 31 weeks. Then these are the sub activities of that you need to spend time on, that are going to take to complete the entire requirement baseline activity. So this is how a network diagram looks like. Now I understand what you're thinking here. What you're thinking is whatever that you have read about network diagram is something different, and network diagram do not look as simple as that. So let me show you how a network diagram looks like and how a network diagram is going to look like when it comes to your PMP exam. So there you have it. All the calculations are done, and all the dependencies are in place. You have the arrows. right? And there's a lot to study, there's a lot to discuss when it comes to network diagrams. And like I said, we will have a dedicated video to cover this, so don't worry about it. We do know, we do understand this is an important topic, so we wanted to create a separate video on it. But for now, you can understand the fact that network diagram is a kind of way to depict your project schedule, and it is used to depict dependencies. So that's all that we had in this video. Do hit the like button if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you stay notified whenever we upload new videos. Do check out the website pmclounge.com, which is your #1 free PMP resource. We are also available on social media. Our handle is PMC Lounge on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So check us out there as well. Thanks and have a nice day.